At 90, Shirley MacLaine's daughter finally admits what we all suspected. From acting to dancing, singing to activism, Shirley MacLaine has done it all and then some. With a career that spans over 8 decades, her struggles and triumphs pepper her unapologetic life. Even now, her wild eccentricities and controversial comments keep making headlines. Stay tuned for more insights as we uncover the truth about Shirley MacLaine's life, especially now that her daughter has finally revealed what many suspected. "My mother chose her movie career over me," says Shirley MacLaine's daughter. From her earliest days, Sachi found herself amidst the glittering world of Hollywood royalty, bouncing on the knees of icons like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Audrey Hepburn. With Warren Beatty as her uncle, she grew up in opulent surroundings, calling both a lavish Los Angeles mansion and a beachfront villa in Malibu her home. At the tender age of 2, Sachi graced the cover of Life magazine alongside her mother, both sporting playful expressions and adorned with strands of pearls worth $150,000. However, behind the glamorous facade lay a different reality, as revealed in Sachi's candid memoir. She paints a picture of her screen legend mother as absent and indifferent, lamenting a childhood marked by loneliness and abandonment. Now 68, Sachi confesses, "I still struggle with abandonment issues and loneliness." Shirley MacLaine, now 90 and known for her role as Martha Levinson in Downton Abbey, expresses shock and heartbreak at her daughter's revelations. Despite being married to film producer Steve Parker for 30 years, MacLaine and Parker spent much of their marriage living apart due to his business interests in Japan. As a result, Sachi was sent to live with her father as a toddler, only seeing her mother during occasional holidays and summers. "I missed her all year," reflects Sachi, whose memoir, Lucky Me, My Life With and Without My Mum, Shirley MacLaine. However, their reunions were short-lived, as MacLaine's interest quickly waned. "For 4 hours, she loved you," Sachi remembers. "Then suddenly and without warning, you became an intolerable burden." As a mother, MacLaine was lacking in compassion, according to Sachi. The actress arranged for her daughter to audition with Gregory Peck for the role of Scout in the 1962 film To Kill a Mockingbird, purportedly as a lesson in handling rejection. Remarkably, Sachi was offered the part, but MacLaine feared the harsh realities of Hollywood and prevented her daughter from accepting the role. During her infrequent visits to her mother, Sachi witnessed MacLaine engage in affairs with her co-stars, including Robert Mitchum and Yves Montand. MacLaine portrayed these relationships as part of an open marriage with her husband, Steve Parker, reassuring Sachi that it was an ideal arrangement. Sachi recalls her parents' acceptance of each other's affairs, noting that they only needed to be together once or twice a year. MacLaine's role modeling was often peculiar. While visiting her in Los Angeles, Sachi observed her mother conducting seances with her friend, author William Blatty, who later wrote The Exorcist. However, MacLaine's behavior could also be harsh. Sachi alleges that when her mother suspected her of lying, she would lock her in her room without food for 3 days. At the age of 12, Sachi was enrolled in boarding school, where she spent her summers. However, one summer, both her parents forgot to pick her up when the term ended at her Swiss academy. Left to fend for herself, she relied on the kindness of strangers for 3 weeks before finally tracking down her mother, who was filming in England. Upon reuniting with her mother, Sachi found herself once again regarded as an inconvenience and was promptly sent off to a boarding school in Devon, months before the new term was set to begin. When she graduated from high school, neither of her parents attended the ceremony. Sachi flew out to meet MacLaine in Las Vegas, Nevada, where she was performing. The actress gave her a spectacular diamond necklace as a graduation gift, only to cut her off financially shortly afterward. "You're on your own now," MacLaine told her bluntly. Despite her hopes of attending university, Sachi's dreams were dashed when MacLaine refused to provide financial support. Instead, she urged Sachi to make her own way in the world and suggested she sell the necklace if she ever faced financial hardship. Sachi opted not to sell the necklace, but instead worked various jobs, including as a waitress, hotel maid, ski instructor, and Qantas stewardess, in order to make ends meet. She never had the opportunity to pursue higher education. Seeking refuge from her tumultuous family life, Sachi fled to Australia and became engaged to a charming young wine merchant. However, when the relationship turned sour, Sachi reached out to her mother for financial assistance, desperately needing $500 to purchase a used car for her escape. MacLaine agreed to lend the money but insisted on a hefty 10% interest rate for repayment. Feeling trapped, Sachi reluctantly accepted the terms. Years later, when Sachi found herself pregnant at 27, MacLaine refused to offer any financial support, leading Sachi to reluctantly undergo an abortion. MacLaine's candid revelations extended beyond her literary works, where she detailed her sexual escapades and claimed encounters with extraterrestrials, among other sensational anecdotes. Sachi, now an actress and mother of two, acknowledges that while her mother's accounts may not be entirely false, they often involve creative embellishments. According to Sachi, MacLaine has a tendency to transform mundane experiences, such as a trip to the supermarket, into spiritual quests. At the age of 17, Sachi was stunned when MacLaine disclosed that her biological father was not Steve Parker, but a mysterious figure named Paul, who MacLaine claimed was on a secret government mission in outer space. MacLaine asserted that Parker was a government-created clone. Sachi eventually persuaded her mother to see through Steve Parker's facade, revealing him not as a government clone, but as a swindler who squandered the hefty sums MacLaine sent him each month for supposed space research. In 1982, the Hollywood star initiated divorce proceedings, putting an end to the tumultuous marriage. Acknowledging her hands-off approach to motherhood, MacLaine has openly admitted, "I would never have given up work to stay home." Her philosophy centered on allowing Sachi to grow independently while being available when needed. However, when MacLaine informed her daughter that she would not inherit anything from her will, Sachi was left feeling abandoned and unloved. Reflecting on their strained relationship, Sachi expressed, "I made every effort to include my mom in my life, hoping for that big Hollywood happy ending. But with the publication of this book, that dream probably won't materialize." In response, MacLaine dismisses Sachi's memoir as largely fictional, expressing disappointment in what she perceives as a deceitful and opportunistic endeavor from her daughter, whom she has always wished the best for. We're uncertain about the accuracy of her daughter's claims, but one thing is certain. Shirley MacLaine has had an incredible career and life. Let's take a closer look at her journey to better understand the events that shaped her. Shirley MacLaine Beatty entered the world in 1934 in Richmond, Virginia. Born into a family with a deep appreciation for the arts, it seemed inevitable that she would gravitate towards performing. Her father harbored dreams of joining the circus, while her mother, a passionate drama teacher, instilled in her a love for the stage. Naming her after the famous actress Shirley Temple, it was clear that her parents had high hopes for their firstborn. However, MacLaine wasn't the sole star in her family's constellation. At the tender age of 3, MacLaine welcomed a new addition to the family, a baby brother named Warren Beatty. With 2 budding talents under one roof, it was evident that creativity ran deep in their blood. Despite any sibling rivalry that may have emerged, MacLaine and Beatty shared a close bond as children, viewing each other not just as siblings, but as allies. Yet, amidst the joys of childhood, MacLaine faced her own challenges. At the age of 3, her mother noticed that she had weak ankles, causing her to frequently stumble and fall. Determined to address this issue early on, her mother enrolled her in ballet classes. MacLaine took to the art form with gusto, rarely missing a class and immersing herself fully in the world of dance. Her passion for performing began to blossom. laying the foundation for a remarkable journey ahead. Teachers often cast MacLaine in boys' roles due to her height and the scarcity of male students in her classes. However, one memorable occasion deviated from this pattern when she landed the role of Cinderella's fairy godmother. Yet just as the performance was about to commence, disaster struck. MacLaine broke her ankle while warming up for the role. Despite the injury, she exhibited remarkable resilience, choosing to tighten her shoe ribbons and soldier through the pain rather than succumb to tears. Only after the play concluded did MacLaine seek medical attention, opting to endure the discomfort until her on-stage duties were fulfilled. Undeterred by the setback, she continued to demonstrate her fortitude in the face of adversity. Although MacLaine cherished the stage, she eventually realized that ballet was not her true calling. With characteristic audacity, she seized an opportunity to pursue her dreams, departing from home during her senior year to pursue a career on Broadway. Fortuitously, she secured a role as a chorus girl in Oklahoma, igniting her passion for acting. For MacLaine, acting became an undeniable source of joy and purpose. Reflecting on her career trajectory, she remarked, "Once I graduated from high school, there was no question what I was going to do." In a twist of fate, MacLaine's journey took a momentous turn in 1954 when the lead actress in The Pajama Game sustained an injury. As her understudy, MacLaine was thrust into the spotlight, assuming the starring role and transcending her previous status as a chorus girl. Serendipitously, a significant figure in the audience bore witness to her performance, setting the stage for her ascent to stardom. Film producer H.B. Wallace witnessed MacLaine's remarkable performance that evening and was so impressed that he promptly offered her a 5-year contract with Paramount Pictures. Her cinematic debut came in Alfred Hitchcock's The Trouble with Harry. Although the film didn't achieve blockbuster success, MacLaine's talent shone through, earning her the distinction of winning her first Golden Globe for New Star of the Year, Actress. However, along with the accolades came unexpected scrutiny. MacLaine soon found herself in the spotlight for reasons beyond her acting abilities. She discovered that her boss, Hitchcock, had a penchant for spending time with her outside of work. Initially flattered and enjoying their outings to new restaurants, MacLaine relished the opportunity to engage in candid conversations with the renowned director. Yet, their social interactions attracted disapproval from certain quarters. Despite MacLaine's genuine appreciation for Hitchcock's company, she faced unexpected backlash for their frequent rendezvous. A few weeks into their dining escapades, she received a startling call from the head of Paramount Pictures, who delivered a blunt ultimatum: cease dining out or risk termination of her contract. The reason behind this stern directive soon became apparent. MacLaine had unwittingly gained 25 pounds from their gastronomic adventures, a development deemed unacceptable by the studio. After starring in several films, MacLaine received her first Academy Award and Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress for her role in Some Came Running in 1958. Although she didn't win, it marked the beginning of a pattern of recognition by the Academy for her acting talents. Her subsequent film, The Apartment, became a major success, earning her a surprising admirer. Following the release of The Apartment, MacLaine encountered the Soviet premier's interpreter, who had a special message for her from the premier himself. Despite being in New York for a United Nations address, the premier wanted MacLaine to know that he had noticed her improvement in acting. This unexpected praise stemmed from an earlier encounter during the filming of Can, where the Soviet premier had visited the set. MacLaine was in the midst of filming a dance scene, which unfortunately turned out to be more risque than intended. The scene concluded with MacLaine and the backup dancers provocatively positioning themselves, much to the premier's discomfort. While the incident may have raised eyebrows among foreign dignitaries, MacLaine remained a respected figure among audiences back home. Shortly after Shirley MacLaine carved out her niche in Hollywood, her brother Warren Beatty decided to embark on his own showbiz journey. However, he was adamant about not relying on his sister's fame to propel his career forward. To distance himself from Shirley's shadow, he opted to modify their shared last name, adding an extra T to differentiate himself. He was determined to ensure that his sister's prominence wouldn't overshadow his own aspirations. Yet, there may have been deeper motivations behind Warren's decision to conceal their relationship. When a reporter inadvertently labeled him as Shirley MacLaine's brother, Warren vehemently objected, insisting that the order be reversed to emphasize his own identity. His demand caused a rift between them, leaving Shirley feeling wounded and unacknowledged. Despite this friction, their bond endured, albeit strained. The MacLaine-Beatty estrangement marked the beginning of a silent discord, but it didn't signal the demise of their sibling connection. Acknowledging their turbulent history, MacLaine reflects on their enduring bond, describing Beatty as the person she has known and loved the longest. Despite their differences, she holds deep concern for his well-being, particularly during his earlier years of bachelorhood. While they never collaborated professionally, MacLaine's enduring affection for her brother transcends their intermittent conflicts. Even during the best of times, Shirley MacLaine found her brother Warren Beatty's reluctance to share his private life somewhat vexing. Eventually, she realized that agreeing to disagree was the only way forward for them. Despite their occasional differences, she admits to feeling a strong sense of protectiveness towards him, particularly when he famously announced the wrong name for Best Picture at the Oscars. Now, in their 90s, the siblings have forged a close bond over the years. While MacLaine undoubtedly flourished in her professional endeavors, her personal life wasn't without its complexities. At the age of 18, while performing as part of the chorus, she encountered businessman Steve Parker, and from that moment, her life took an unexpected turn. They tied the knot in 1954, and on the surface, appeared to be content together. MacLaine affectionately referred to Parker as her mate, counselor, and friend, even labeling him as the love of her life. However, their marriage was far from a fairy tale. MacLaine held unconventional views on love and marriage, expressing her reluctance to be bound by the constraints of monogamy. She candidly admitted, "But I could never live a life where I felt tied down to a promise, just because my love hormones were raging at the time." This mindset led her into several extramarital affairs, often with colleagues in the entertainment industry. Surprisingly, Parker was accepting of their unconventional arrangement, and their open marriage endured for 28 years. Yet, despite outward appearances, their unconventional union was not without its challenges. Shirley MacLaine enjoyed the perks of fame and fortune as a successful movie star, but it came at a cost. Her husband turned out to be a fortune hunter. She uncovered his scheme of transferring substantial sums of her money to his girlfriend's account. While undoubtedly painful, MacLaine chose to view it as a valuable lesson. Although she acknowledged that he should have sought her consent before using her funds, she somewhat forgave him, attributing his actions to his intention of making profitable investments. Unfortunately, none of these ventures succeeded. It was perhaps a stroke of luck that MacLaine uncovered his financial misdeeds before they led to her financial ruin. In 1956, MacLaine experienced a significant life change when she became a mother. Despite her reservations about commitment and being tied down in a relationship, the arrival of a baby girl, Stephanie Sachiko Parker, seemed poised to alter her perspective. Initially, the couple appeared ecstatic about their new addition. However, their joy was short-lived. The demands of caring for a child proved overwhelming for MacLaine, a responsibility she hadn't fully anticipated. In a surprising turn of events, when Sachi was just 6 years old, MacLaine and Parker relocated to Japan. The reason behind this dramatic move: a disturbing incident involving a drunken nanny and the unsettling threat of kidnapping. But there was more to it. MacLaine was convinced that Hollywood was not a safe environment to raise a child. Despite her well-meaning intentions, MacLaine's parenting decisions were not without their flaws. MacLaine emphasizes that during her time in Japan, she was actively involved in parenting, However, she eventually faced a tough decision. She couldn't remain in Japan if she wanted to continue her career. Prioritizing her work, MacLaine left Sachi with her father and returned to Hollywood. Sadly, this choice meant that she only saw her daughter during Christmas and other holidays. This decision led to a significant rift between mother and daughter. In a twist of fate, MacLaine took on two roles initially intended for Marilyn Monroe. With Monroe's untimely passing, these roles became available for another actor, and MacLaine seized the opportunity to portray the titular character in Irma la Douce. Despite her own reservations about the film, MacLaine was surprised when the Academy recognized her performance with a nomination. However, considering the lengths she went to prepare for the role, perhaps it shouldn't have come as a surprise. To convincingly portray the character of Irma, a Parisian sex worker, MacLaine went straight to the source. She traveled to Paris and engaged in candid conversations with the women working in the profession. Their willingness to share their experiences sometimes bordered on discomfort, as they eagerly insisted on demonstrating their work firsthand. Despite her initial hesitation, MacLaine eventually agreed to observe them with a client through a discreetly hidden window, all in the name of authenticity and art. Remember H.B. Wallace, the guy who kick-started MacLaine's film career? Well, he apparently got the wrong idea about his influence over her. When he tried to pull a move by sticking his tongue down her throat, MacLaine wasn't having any of it. She swiftly responded with a resounding slap, making it clear where she stood. The next day, Wallace attempted to smooth things over by gifting her a sports car, perhaps hoping to buy her silence. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. But Wallace wasn't done with his unsavory behavior. His misdeeds continued when he violated terms in her contract. MacLaine wasn't about to let that slide. With a fearless resolve, she took him to court and ultimately prevailed, ensuring she received what was rightfully hers. This marked a pivotal moment, signaling the end of the era where stars were at the mercy of unscrupulous managers. While some may have sided with Wallace, MacLaine stood her ground with unwavering strength. Never one to shy away from confrontation, MacLaine was incensed by gossip columnist Mike Connolly's perspective on her legal battle with Wallace. Fueled by righteous anger, she took matters into her own hands and confronted Connolly in his office at The Hollywood Reporter. The encounter ended with a punch to his mouth, leaving no doubt about MacLaine's resolve. Following these dramatic events, few dared to challenge the fiery actress. Even the legal system seemed to acknowledge her rightful stance. In 1966, MacLaine took 20th Century Fox to court over a breach of contract. They had reneged on their promise to produce a film adaptation of a play, pulling out of the deal at the 11th hour. The legal battle escalated all the way to the Supreme Court, which ultimately ruled in MacLaine's favor. The case gained such notoriety that it became a staple in law school textbooks as a prime example of employment contract law. If there was any doubt before, this legal showdown firmly established Shirley MacLaine's reputation as someone not to be underestimated. These high-profile incidents, coupled with MacLaine's strong work ethic, made it abundantly clear to her co-stars that crossing her was ill-advised. As she puts it, there was an unspoken understanding. I'm your buddy, you can trust me. Yet despite her amicable demeanor, MacLaine didn't harbor friendly sentiments towards all her male colleagues. While her standards were discerning, there was one type of man who piqued her interest. MacLaine had a penchant for dangerous and complicated men. She found the challenge of unraveling their complexities irresistible, and among her co-stars, Robert Mitchum fit the bill perfectly. With him, she felt an undeniable attraction and wasted no time in embarking on a passionate affair. Intriguingly, her infatuation with Mitchum dates back to her teenage years, making their liaison a dream come true. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of her romantic escapades. Interestingly, MacLaine considered herself a serial monogamist, preferring to focus on one relationship at a time. Given her numerous romantic conquests, this strategy appeared prudent. Besides her dalliance with Mitchum, She also courted Yves Montand, Danny Kaye, and an enigmatic Soviet director she dubbed Vassy. Judging from her accounts, she reveled in each encounter. You might assume that a woman of MacLaine's stature would be concerned about preserving her reputation. Not her. She never hesitated to pursue experiences, unconcerned about their potential impact on her career. This fearlessness led her to globetrot with Danny Kaye in search of culinary delights and to serve as Vassy's informal sponsor for his American ventures. And that's just scratching the surface. Her romantic interests extended beyond the confines of Hollywood. MacLaine didn't shy away from entanglements with men in politics. She cultivated relationships with several notable figures. From Swedish Prime Minister Olof Palme to Canadian Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau, not to mention Australian Foreign Minister Andrew Peacock, she maintained colorful connections with each. They weren't merely companions for travel and evading paparazzi. She also engaged them in discussions about her spiritual and metaphysical beliefs, topics she held dear. And let's just say her beliefs were rather unconventional. MacLaine's spiritual beliefs veer far from the mainstream. She staunchly believes in the concept of reincarnation, asserting that human souls traverse different lives and eras. According to her, she once inhabited the spirit of a 35,000-year-old Atlantean, among other intriguing incarnations like a harem girl in Turkey, a Muslim gypsy in Morocco, and an entertainer in Isfahan. Not stopping at the bounds of earthly existence, MacLaine refuses to attend funerals, convinced that the departing soul merely transitions to another realm rather than ceasing to exist. But wait, there's more. She's a vocal proponent of the existence of UFOs and extraterrestrial life, speculating that human souls might even inhabit alien bodies. Claiming sightings of UFOs from her New Mexico residence, she theorizes that the area's abundance of crystals attracts these otherworldly visitors. It's almost as if she's tailor-made for an X-Files reboot. Despite her eccentricities, MacLaine's acting prowess earned her an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role in Terms of Endearment. The film's success catapulted her to new heights, and she's since garnered numerous accolades. Yet, her remarkable career hasn't managed to win over everyone. In Terms of Endearment, the strained relationship between Shirley MacLaine and on-screen daughter Deborah Winger seemed to echo reality. Their off-screen dynamic was far from amicable, with Winger going to extreme lengths to express her disdain. While MacLaine opted for silent disapproval, Winger took a more direct approach. According to MacLaine, Winger made her sentiments clear by audibly passing gas in her direction, and if that wasn't enough, she allegedly licked MacLaine's leg during a love scene with Jack Nicholson. But Winger wasn't the only co-star to clash with MacLaine. In A Change of Seasons, MacLaine's friction with Anthony Hopkins was palpable. Hopkins famously dubbed her the most obnoxious woman he'd ever acted alongside, citing her as overbearing and annoying. MacLaine responded with a succinct, "I don't like him either." It's no surprise that this adversarial pair never shared the screen again. You might call Shirley MacLaine many things, but lazy certainly isn't one of them. With over 60 films under her belt, numerous television appearances, Broadway roles, and 12 authored books, she's proven herself a tireless worker. Her literary works often delve into her fascination with reincarnation and metaphysics. Yet, amidst her professional hustle, MacLaine's personal life hasn't been without its share of drama. The toll of her career's demands was starkly felt by her daughter, Sachi Parker. Raised mostly apart from her mother, Sachi longed for a connection beyond the silver screen. In 1981, she moved to the U.S., hoping to bridge the gap and pursue acting. However, reality didn't match her expectations. Contrary to what one might assume, MacLaine's reaction to her daughter's proximity wasn't one of warmth and embrace. Sachi's revealing autobiography, Lucky Me, My Life With and Without My Mom, Shirley MacLaine, painted a stark picture of their strained relationship. From forgotten Christmases to deeper rifts, Sachi's disclosures laid bare the complexities of their bond. Despite her daughter's claims of neglect and financial abandonment, Shirley MacLaine remained unmoved. Sachi had to carve her own path, juggling various jobs from skiing instructor to waitress and au pair. Sachi's accusations of MacLaine sabotaging her acting dreams may have been an attempt to confront her through her autobiography, but MacLaine's reaction was unexpectedly blunt. Dismissing Sachi's grievances, MacLaine labeled the book as a dishonest, opportunistic effort from a daughter she always wanted the best for and whom she claims to have loved deeply. It was a harsh blow. When not in the spotlight, MacLaine finds solace in traveling the globe. Unfazed by solo adventures, she sees each journey as an opportunity for self-discovery and cultural immersion. However, there's one destination that holds a special place in her heart. MacLaine has a deep affection for her home in New Mexico, a sentiment rooted in a unique experience. While initially just browsing, she felt a profound connection with the spirit of the previous owner, a dancer lingering at the top of the staircase. It was as if the dancer urged her to purchase the property, and from that moment, MacLaine knew she couldn't resist. Now she cherishes her time there above anywhere else in the world. In addition to her New Mexico abode, MacLaine owns a ranch located about 45 miles away. Interestingly, she shares the neighborhood with another notable celebrity, Julia Roberts. The two actresses have maintained a friendship since their time working together on Steel Magnolias. MacLaine even played a pivotal role in recognizing Roberts' potential as a star. Despite her advancing years, MacLaine continues to captivate audiences, appearing in contemporary television shows like Downton Abbey and Glee. She humorously attributes her enduring fame to her ability to still walk upright. Beyond her acting career, MacLaine remains in the spotlight due to her unconventional beliefs, which often make headlines. MacLaine has never shied away from controversy, often disregarding public opinion. However, she crossed a line with some deeply troubling remarks in one of her books. She suggested that karma may have been responsible for the persecution suffered by Holocaust victims, a statement that understandably sparked outrage. Unfortunately, that wasn't the only instance of MacLaine's unconventional ideas causing uproar. In another instance, she speculated that Stephen Hawking might have deliberately manifested his ALS to focus on intellectual pursuits while caregivers tended to his physical needs. This theory was widely criticized and deemed insensitive. Nevertheless, MacLaine's eccentric reputation seems to shield her from severe consequences for such offensive comments. Despite her controversial views, MacLaine maintains a pragmatic approach to personal appearance. She acknowledges her brother as the more conventionally attractive sibling and has only experimented with Botox once. Comfort with oneself, she believes, is the essence of embracing one's true self. Shirley MacLaine's life is a tapestry woven with eccentricity, controversy, and unparalleled success in the entertainment industry. From her unconventional beliefs to her unapologetic approach to self-expression, MacLaine has left an indelible mark on Hollywood and beyond. Despite the criticisms and debates surrounding her, she remains steadfast in her convictions and continues to captivate audiences with her work. What are your thoughts on Shirley MacLaine's unconventional views and her impact on the entertainment world? And do you believe what her daughter had said? Share your opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful content.